Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Today, I'm delighted to welcome back local author Marcy Lane. Marcy's newest novel is called Her Final Toast, a race to clear an innocent man's name. Well, that race has many twists and turns, and I've been so looking forward to discussing her work with her. Welcome back to Scribes and Songsters.
Lovely to see you again, Veronique.
Thank you. There is so much I want to talk about in this new book. But, you know, for someone who didn't see your interview with us a couple of years ago, just tell us how you came to writing.
Oh, dear. It was COVID that really gave me permission to start writing. I had always written, but always like academic pieces and business pieces and things like that. And it was always sort of inter-office kind of policy and boring stuff. But I'd wanted to be a writer. And when we were locked down, I just signed up for a course one day and gave myself permission to get going.
Wow. Mm-hmm. You write a lot in this book about the local area. Mm-hmm. Have you always lived here?
No. I moved here in 2018.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Where were you?
Calgary before.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. And now, did I read somewhere where you were an army brat?
I'm totally an army brat. Yeah. Totally.
So you must have moved around a lot?
Yeah, a lot. So I was born in northern Ontario, near Barrie, and lived in Ottawa, Kingston, Edmonton, Dunder in Saskatchewan. Spent a year in Swindon, England, a couple of years in Lahr, Germany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
And here you are.
Here I am. I chose here.
So now the last time you were with us, we talked about A Mercy of Widows.
That's right.
Now, that came from a very personal place, didn't it?
It did.
Do you want to give us a little summary of it so you can refresh people's minds so that they could go out and buy that one too?
There you go. Sure. It is following a protagonist whose name is Hetty, and she's suffering the loss of her boyfriend who has recently died of cancer. And he didn't sort of handle his final affairs very well, and so his family is treating her very badly. And while she's wrestling with that, she is summoned to be a juror on a maid euthanasia trial. And so while she's trying to understand all the ins and outs of this murder trial that she's supposed to be judging, she is also trying to reconcile her own feelings and emotions and thoughts and issues around her boyfriend's death.
How difficult was that for you to write?
It was very difficult to write, but not from an emotional perspective. From an emotional perspective, it was cathartic for the most part. But it was difficult because it was my first novel. I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I started, and editing was brutal.
It always is.
Yeah, well, this one almost didn't make it out because the editing was so bad. Yeah. But
it is, and so I'm going to recommend to people to get it. It is, it's actually, there's a lot of information in there, and it's also very poignant, and I think people would find that.
I've been stopped on the street and thanked for that book.
Isn't that lovely?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
That's huge for an author, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the final toast.
All right.
The cast of characters.
Yes.
Quite incredible. I counted about, I think, 45 characters. Is that about right?
Yeah, probably.
And 9 animals. I love your animals, too.
Yeah. Have to have animals.
Yes. Now, how do you keep them all straight?
Well, it's easy for the core group, the A-team, as they're called, because each of them is very distinct in my head. Well, it's also relatively easy as well for the townsfolk, because each of them, in their own way, is a bit of a character, right?
Right.
And so, I was deliberately trying to write a town, and when you have a town, you have to populate that town.
Yes.
And so that's why there are so many characters.
Yeah. You're much better than I am, because when I write a play, I have to put a big sheet of paper up on the wall and list them all so I can keep them straight. Mm-hmm. You're very good if you can keep them all straight in your head.
I use Scrivener.
Oh.
And so I love Scrivener. And they have a database feature that allows me to put in photos of the characters and give their bios and their catchphrases and all that. And so if I'm running, if my mind is sort of gone, then I can go back to that cast and just sort of take a look from that way.
Well, I'm going to take a leaf out of your book and try that.
I love Scrivener.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Thank you. So let's go to some of your characters.
All right.
But first of all, the town you were have created is Erie Bluff.
Yes.
But now, it's a composite, isn't it?
It is.
Of?
Kingsville, Leamington, Amherstburg, Colchester.
So now, will people recognize anything from, if you're from Amherstburg, would you get some sense of what's in there about Amherstburg?
Yes, a little bit. So, for example, there's a character who's Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the Coast Guard is in Amherstburg. Kingsville, there's a pavilion, and there's a big festival around the pavilion. The flora and fauna is consistent throughout, and so there's a tulip tree, for example, that is factored in the mystery.
And you have a map. Did you make that map up yourself?
I did. I did, and I also did a murder board based on the map.
You could give us a little synopsis of the book, and then I'd like to go through the character list, not every person, but the ones who are significant once we know the synopsis.
Okay. So the basic synopsis is that the town is broke, and the mayor has decided that he is going to bring in festivals in order to try to put it back up on the map. And he hires an MC to oversee the whole thing, and she winds up dead. And then the wrong person is accused of killing her, and most of the townsfolk realize that he's probably innocent. And the man is on the spectrum, so he can't really handle the stress and strain of being put into cells while, they decide what they're going to do with him. And so his roommates decide that they're going to try to prove him innocent, and that's the story. And
so many people get involved in solving this murder.
Yes, they do.
I love the A-team. This is not like the capital A-team.
It's the Canadian expression,
yes,
the A-team.
The A-team.
Yeah.
E-H exclamation.
That's right.
Now, they're very interesting characters. There's 6 of them.
Yes.
Who would you consider the ringleader?
They're a team. Each of them contributes their own elements to it. But if I were to name somebody who was the ringleader, it would probably be Dottie.
Mm-hmm. Now, so she's an animal control officer.
That's right.
Right. Smart lady.
Yes. Her late husband, was a professor, and started up the historical archives and museum in town.
Right.
Which she still runs.
It's very character driven, mm-hmm. because the characters, especially the ones who recur more often and who are more prominent, they're really strong characters.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, they're great, but then you also have the murder investigation excluding the A-team. Tell us about them.
Well, Biggins, the police chief, is he was born and raised in Erie Bluff. He has a history with the murder victim and with some of the other folks, and he is rushing for justice for lots of his own reasons, but mostly,
yeah, he wants results.
He wants results.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fitz character, Fitz Beauchamp.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give anything away, but he certainly surprised me because I was pegging him as a villain.
Well, he could be a villain.
Yeah.
He could be a villain. He comes back in the next story. He stays in Erie Bluff, and he has the dog Priscilla.
Yes.
Who he renames at the end of the story,
and of course Trixie Thorne. What a character she is.
Okay, good.
Did you like her?
I found her funny. I was amused by her.
Yeah.
Like her, yeah. She's just sort of over the top.
Yes. Very mean.
Very mean.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism, though.
Yes, yes. And people are going to love this character. Now, the Erie Bluffians, what a great thing to call them. So I really liked Mrs. Patel.
Yes.
Where did you come up with the Rolling Scone Bakery?
I don't know where I came up with it, but I really liked it when I did.
Yeah,
I thought I was pretty clever.
Every time it came up, I thought, oh, I can't wait to ask her how she came up with that.
I was running around with names for a bakery because I wanted there to be a bakery, and Mrs. Patel was going to be the proprietor of the bakery, and I wanted the name to be amusing in some way. Like I wanted it to be punny.
Yeah, and it was. I thought it was really good. Now the wineries, they are almost like characters in the book.
Yes.
And especially the Underwood Estates and the owner, Blythe Underwood, again, coming in like a dark horse and, you're never knowing where she's going to end up. Is she based on anybody?
No.
Yeah.
No, none of these characters are based on anyone. Yeah, none of them.
What about the wineries?
Same thing. The wineries aren't based on anyone. I did like this notion of koinonia. The Larkins, who are Quakers. I love the idea of having Quakers as
owning a winery.
Owning a winery. Yeah,
that was different.
It was different.
Yeah,
and yeah. And sometimes they get into trouble with their faith over that one.
Oh.
But that's later.
Okay, the 9 animals. Mm-hmm. You've defined the animals almost like humans. Mm-hmm. They. What made you decide to give them sort of such heavy-duty characterizations?
To me, animals are very important, and I knew that I wanted Dottie to be sort of an animal control officer, and I knew that I wanted her to have a rescue, and that's part fantasy on my part, because that would be something that I would love to do. But it's not ever going to happen, so I'm going to do it in the stories instead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And of course, Mac.
Yes.
The wonderful Mac.
Yes, MacGuffin.
Yes.
Which is a funny name. I love that name.
Yes, I like MacGuffin. And it's very interesting because you create this relationship between him and Adrian, who is one of the A-team members. Mm-hmm. because he was a retired canine.
Yes.
Wasn't he?
Yes. So Mac is a bit young to be retired, but he witnessed a trauma, and he really didn't recover from it very well. And so the OPP retired him, and Adrian took him in.
Do you have a favorite piece you'd read for us?
I have a piece I will read. I don't know. I'm hard-pressed to find a favorite.
Oh, okay.
The dissonant notes of the Twilight Zone theme tracked Dottie Stratton's steps into the Mystic Leaf Cafe, like a glitchy metronome. Dottie frowned at the jarring chime. Usually pan flutes guided her toward caffeine and her first croissant of the day. One glance at the barista's tight smile told her everything. Luna Smith had not chosen the music. "Someone's pranking Luna," Dottie murmured, half amused. Each time the door swung open, the eerie minor key riff jangled through the cafe. Tourists glanced around as if trying to catch a joke they'd already missed. The regulars didn't even flinch. Dottie Stratton had lived in Erie Bluff for nearly 3 decades, moving from Kingston as a newlywed in search of her husband Art's quiet life. People called her caring, usually with a shrug, as if kindness were expected and faintly amusing. The proof showed in her laugh lines and the ever-ready tote she carried, stocked with gloves, wipes, liver treats, and loop leashes. Her cargo pants and hiking boots gave her the look of a desert wanderer misplaced among the area's forests, vineyards, and farmland. Dottie spotted George in his usual spot. Hunched over his samples, he was hard to miss in his blinding yellow-green shirt with his overloaded wagon parked beside him. He set his mug over a dent in the table, a private sandbag against disorder. She caught his eye, mimed tea first, and added a wink. He nodded, before once again acceding to the demands of his rituals. George had lived with her since his mother passed almost a year ago. Sharon Fenn had been Dottie's best friend, her confidant, and favorite partner in crime, the kind of woman who could turn any Tuesday into an occasion. Dottie hadn't stepped in formally. George was 38 after all. But she'd filled the gap. She considered herself his translator, the person who helped him understand the world when it got too loud or edgy. He thought with precision, but the pull of his compulsions made it hard for him to manage without support. And truthfully, she cherished their rhythm, his oddball brilliance, his eagerness to help, the meaning he found in the tiniest tasks.
How did you come up with George?
So he's a forger and a mycologist, and the name Fenn is like, his original name was, I think, Bramble, but that was too close to Thorn, and so I eventually came up with the name Fenn as a way to sort of, connect him to the forests and the fields and nature and so on. As far as I wanted somebody who was really, really smart, but in a narrow way, and I wanted him to be vulnerable, and so that's how I came up with George.
You really depicted him so well as sort of having that typical brilliant focus on something, and so it was interesting watching how the community rallied around him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's something else that I wanted. I wanted the community to support their weakest member or a weak member.
There are a number of themes throughout. Tell me about the relationships. How did you build all those relationships? Because you have such a big cast, and they all are very interactive with each other.
The way that I tend to write now, after the first book, the revision saga, is that I lay out a plot and then I do a first draft. And then I go through it iteratively and then just layer in more and more color, more and more detail, more and more complexities, and so on. So it's a very iterative process. I go through many drafts. And I think that that's why it becomes sort of complex, is because I'm weaving in different elements with each draft.
Did you do backstories
On almost everyone.
On them?
Yeah. On even, like maybe not the Coast Guard person, whose name eludes me at this point, but certainly up to the Erie Bluffians I did. So certainly all the main cast, and then the murder involved.
Yes.
And then the core Erie Bluffians all have backstories. I know where they came from and how they got where they're at.
And you created the backstory with that very close core group was so well woven that when you get to the end, everything starts to sort of unravel as I'm sure it came out of your mind, and we start to see all the connections.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That's marvelous.
And to sort of also tell me about how you built the life in that community.
Mostly through observation. So, as a newcomer myself, I often sort of sit a bit on the outside of things. And so, by observing people around me, I've gotten to understand small towns in a way that I probably didn't before. And so when I see something, I just write it down. And, if I can find a place to use it, then I do.
How much time did you spend just looking at communities for this?
A lot. Like some people say to write what they know. I like to write what I want to know more about. And so I wanted to know more about this area. And I wanted to know more about some of the history of wineries in this case, but also foraging. And so the research was a bit of a pleasure because I just got to study what I wanted to study.
I was going to also ask you next, tell me about that research, because there had to be, you had quite a few things to research. And
oh, yes. And I got lots of it wrong. I got lots of it wrong. I have some marvelous beta readers and one particularly excellent alpha reader. And the alpha reader is somebody who's quite knowledgeable about the OPP and canine stuff and all that. And so his original read on that draft was, this is mostly wrong. And so I had to figure out ways that I was going to make it more reasonable, more not realistic, because it's a novel and it's, it's supposed to be fake, but, a little more plausible anyway. And so based on that, I did a bunch more research in order to try to figure that out. And I also moved it away from the OPP and made it its own detachment, or sorry, not detachment, but its own police service.
Right.
And that sort of came from the conversation that happens in Amherstburg fairly often about
Indeed.
Who's going to be doing the policing. And so there's another example of things that came from Amherstburg.
The mushrooms.
Yes.
How much research did you have to do?
A fair amount, because I knew nothing about mushrooms.
No, and I wouldn't recognize a bad one if my life depended on it.
I'm not going to go out and forage now, so...
I wouldn't either.
No.
Did you research sort of relationships, or did that just come from like your lived observations of people?
I think it just came.
Yeah.
Lived. Yeah.
Because there were some very interesting interactions and the way people reacted to each other and with each other. And I thought, you have to pay a lot of attention to people, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. Who was your least favorite character?
Let's make it J.J. Compton, Piper's ex.
Oh, now why?
Oh, he comes up in book 2.
Ah, okay, so then tell us what you're working on.
So the working title of the second book is in this series is called Hearts, Lies, and Alibis. And it is the same people. It will be almost all the same POV characters, except I'm adding Jamie this time as a POV character. He's Dottie's boyfriend and, well, sort of boyfriend and neighbor. And it's about Mac's original partner, his name was Cal. His widow, her name is Honey. Mm-hmm. Honey's an artist. Honey comes to town and is staying at Dottie's place for the Canada Day Festival. And while she's there, the local butcher falls off the cliff and dies. And there is threat of a lawsuit because, why wasn't the bluff sort of better protected and so on. And in the investigation for that, it comes up that Honey may know more than she is letting on. And so it's a question of trying to find out what's going on there.
Well, as I was reading through it, I thought, I love Agatha Christie's murder, she wrote. And if anyone likes murder, she wrote, this is almost like a Southwestern Ontario version of Murder, She Wrote.
Thank you.
It's wonderfully put together. And I thank you so much. I'm sorry we're out of time because it's really interesting. Your characters are great. And I wish you all the best. Where can people buy it?
Well, River Books has it, and it's available online. Like the library has it.
Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Well, as you now know, her last toast is well worth the read. And that's all the time we have for this edition of Scribes and Songsters. Many thanks to our delightful guest, Marcy Lane, and a big thank you to our Scribes and Songsters team, producer Brian Sweet, technical producer and editor Gary Glass, and grateful thanks to Tony Toldo and the Toldo Foundation, and to Neil and Tina Quering for their ongoing support. We certainly appreciate it. Special thanks to you for watching. I hope to see you very soon, right back here on Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Bye for now.